And when my husband decided that he was going to transition into a woman, we have been building these beautiful relationships. My youngest son now lives with me. He's 18. My oldest son, although he's out in LA, he was living with me prior. Such a beautiful thing to see them make their own decisions without my opinion. His mom was a stripper, drug addict, alcoholic. His dad was my drug dealer in New York City. No matter what he's been through, he is who he is. And that's a beautiful thing to know, like from a parent's perspective. No matter how bad I have fucked up, he is who he is. His path is his path. He's God's kid, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
Welcome back to Cake for Dinner. You guys are going to love today's guest, Allison Doss. She wrote the book, The Unbossing, which is basically her experience through addiction, losing her kids, all kinds of wild stuff that we unpack. And ultimately, her husband coming out as transgender is the thing that really, really brought her down and showed her that she has no control. And it's really there's so much to unpack. It's a wonderful story of hope and redemption, and I think you're going to love it. Thanks for coming.
Oh, wow. We're already recording?
We're already recording.
Okay.
So I'll tell you this. Part of this podcast, or really like the theme of it, is being authentic. And I can't think of another woman I know that leads so fucking boldly with being authentic than you. So
Thank you.
And sometimes it can be intimidating. You're so out about it, you know? And I think...
Please explain.
I will. And I think it will be good to sort of get into... I know some of your story, but I really want to like get into the meat of it, because I think that has led you to the place where you're so bold about who you are. And if only we could all be so bold. So I want to just jump right in to the book you wrote.
Okay.
The Unbossing. I mean, nothing says I'm unapologetically me more than your tattoos.
True. My last name is Doss. I thought it would be so fitting to put Boss Doss on the knuckles.
I guess you didn't plan on getting married and taking anyone's last name.
Ever.
Love that for you.
I even hyphenated both of my children's last names. I had both of them out of wedlock.
Yes.
And I was that woman that was not going to give in at all. I'm not compatible with you. I will deal with you for the time being, and I will be on my way.
And that's that. And I think so much of that comes from your story. So let's start by just telling me why you wrote the book.
I finally felt like I had something to say that might help someone. I had been told for decades that I need to write a book, you need to write a book, but it would have been a book about a salacious journey, a shocking tale just about me.
Right.
And it didn't drive any passion for me to do such a thing at the time. And then when I finally learned some incredible lessons by beating my head against a wall so many times, trying to fit what I didn't know then, as I know now, my square ass into a round hole. And finally surrendering to the fact that I have no control. I am not the boss of anyone.
Even though your hands say Boss Doss.
I'm not the boss of anyone or anything. Hence the title of my book, The Unbossing.
I love that.
I did finally get married. I changed. I was compatible with someone for the first time in a way that I thought would last. I was willing to comfort them in their time of need. I was willing to compromise, and I had never done that. And when my husband decided that he was going to transition into a woman during our marriage, I did all of the things that I had always done to control and manipulate the situation to come out like I needed it to. I shamed, I withheld sex, I left, I threatened. And usually that had worked for me in the past with men. And there was nothing that I could do to put my husband back in the box that I had ideally constructed that I needed for him to be, for me. And I had no choice to surrender to the fact that I was indeed not in control of that person's life. and it destroyed me.
I know that feeling very well. So take me back to that. Like, take me back to that exact moment when he first told you, and were there any signs leading up to it?
The book is the detailed document of the details. It's
Yep.
like, I won't go into that speaking publicly. It's in the book.
Okay.
But yes, there were signs leading up that there was something out of my control. Was there a transgender conclusion in mind?
No.
Never.
Right.
I'm from a different generation. My husband was 10 years younger than me. He had even introduced terminology to me that I was unaware of, gender fluid and things like that. And in his defense, and I will always defend the things that were brought to the table on his end, because he told me these things along the way, and I was unwilling to hear, and I was unwilling to listen, and I thought that I could fix it, and I thought that I had the power to control it, and I thought that I was special enough for him not to change. And although those behaviors were sitting uncomfortably with me throughout the years, there was never any talk of transgender. But when it did come to the table, I split, just my heart split in two, because I knew that that was not something I would be able to fix. And at the time, I thought I was capable of doing that with everyone and everything. And
where do you think that comes from?
I'm not sure. My mom tells me that since I was a toddler, that people walked on eggshells around me. She said, you ruled the house. You were adamant about what you wanted, what you didn't want. You kept the house in disruption between you and your dad. I was uncomfortable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And she said, you just came out that way. And she said, you weren't going to mind the rules. You were going to do it the way you wanted to do. You didn't care about the consequences. You didn't care who you hurt along the way. And she told me, I didn't even think you were capable of loving someone to the point where you could possibly be hurt. And she saw that moment happen.
Right.
And she couldn't believe it.
I feel like if you buy into the idea that we're all here to sort of get to our highest purpose, let's say, I relate so much to your story in that it took a lot of pain for me also to relinquish control. For me, it was addiction and my kids. I think parenting has really probably fucked me up the most. Really just like alcohol brought me to my knees, and parenting just laid me on my back,
I could handle me. I could handle me and my consequences. What I can't handle are my children and their consequences.
Right,
It's a whole different type of vulnerability.
It really is.
I got me. God's
right,
got
because
me.
because at the end of the day, I think when you grow up with a decent amount of grit, you have this idea that no matter what happens to you, you'll be able to somehow weather it. You can pivot, you can, if it crushes you, but you know you're going to come back at some point. But when it's another person, there's just, you literally cannot control the outcome, and it just feels so out of control, and it brings you to a place of vulnerability differently in my experience.
For sure. I mean, I have my children in my life now, but they are 24 and 18. But I lost custody of both of them when they were 10 and 4. And they did not grow up with me in their life. And just the past few years, we have been building these beautiful relationships. My youngest son now lives with me. He's 18. My oldest son, although he's out in LA, he was living with me prior. And they call me when they need things. And I try my best not to give out of shame and guilt.
Right.
But the thing I'm the most proud of is the fact that I can give them over to God every single day and know that I have no power over their journey. They're 24 and 18. They're adults.
Right.
Would I feel this way if they were 10 or 13 or 14? I don't know, but it's such a beautiful thing to see them make their own decisions without my opinion or without me, like, with my slimy little fingers trying to magically, like, change their way.
Right.
And watch them learn the lessons on their own. It is so cool. Those are God's kids. Those aren't mine. And that took a lot of surrender.
And a lot of pain.
A lot of pain. And it came from this beautiful congestion of my husband coming out as transgender. It all came from that. I am so grateful that it all happened the way that it did. It changed me for the better.
And I think it really takes what it takes. I think everybody
Yep.
has a different version
Yep.
of what it took for them,
Yep.
right? Do your kids know, what do they know about your journey through addiction and
All of it.
Okay.
All of it. All of it. I didn't realize this when I began talking on TikTok about my crack addiction and prostitution. I didn't know at the time when I was posting on TikTok that anyone in my son's contacts, it would show up on their For You page. At this time, he's a junior in high school.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that because my son is on my page, people that show up in the contacts in his phone, his friends, my stuff shows up on his For You page, on their For You page. So I had no idea. And so he did finally get into an argument with someone at school. Someone brought that to the forefront and said something about me, and your mom's a crack addict, and he fought with them verbally. And I said, honey, I'd never thought for a moment that I was allowing that stuff to be seen by your friends at school. And I said, is there anything that I can do better? And he said, Mom, I'm really proud of you. He said, I'm so proud of how far you've come, but could you maybe just not mention the prostitution stuff? And I said, you got it. And so I stopped putting that stuff out on my personal social media. I understand. He's now out of school. He's now out of high school. He's in college. Different dynamics.
I mean, that's definitely, as a young man, I would think a hard thing to get your mind around. How do you deal with that today? Like, is that a thing for you now, or is that just old news?
A lot of times my vulnerability, most all of the time, my vulnerability allows others to be vulnerable. And I do it with jokes and a smile, and because I don't have any shame and guilt.
Did you at one time?
Oh, the worst. When I first started getting sober at the age of 40, I'll be 50 in December, so that's how long ago that journey started. I remember working behind the chair, and Boca's best moms would be sitting in my chair, and they would be talking about their children, in high school, doing this and doing that, and do you have any kids? And my heart would drop to my stomach because I didn't want to tell them the truth, that I did not have my kids in my life. I'm just now getting sober. I don't even know if they want to be around me. I lost custody of them. Like, how am I supposed to say this to this woman who's doing all the right things, with her kid? And so I would lie. I would say, yeah, and I would just make up something that was real fluffy, not truthful at all. Oh yeah, my son's living, and I'd make up an excuse of why they were living with their dads or with the grandparents. And until I was able to understand that my exact journey is on purpose, because I connect with a certain woman whose journey is also on purpose through God, that I'm able to give them some hope that their lives too can turn out well with all of the trials and triumphs and addictions and losing the custody of the kids. And I had to get to a point where I was helping others. Yeah. And once I started helping others, then it all began to make sense to me.
Well, then your life makes sense.
It all makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I feel that way too. It's kind of the premise of all of this, right? Is that, like, if we can be authentically ourselves and tell our stories real, then we're able to impact people and help people. And at the very least, there's someone out there that feels less alone.
The amount of women that sit in my chair who would have never told anyone what is going on with a family member regarding alcoholism and addiction, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And because I speak about it, and I can be hopefully a beacon of ray and hope that we do change, we can change, we do live, we can get sober, we can prosper, we can wait. And they see that, I'm like, damn, I'm here for a purpose. Yeah. This is real. And to be able to get them to open up what they otherwise would not have opened up. And just know that, hey, we can recover, your kid can recover, there is a way, there is a solution. I'm here for a purpose.
I love that. So what age were your kids when they were taken from you?
At 10 years old, I gave my oldest son to his grandparents because he was being ornery and not listening to me, and I was out of control, and I needed him just to do what I needed him to do, and he wasn't doing it. And I began to get physically violent with him, and one day when he was 10 years old, I was so hungover. And I was trying to get him up and get ready for school, and he was sitting on the couch like this. I'm like, you get up and you get down the stairs and you get in that car before I drag you down the stairs by the hair on your head. And he glared up at me and said, I'll tell the detective. What detective? What was going on? Who had been talking to my kid? Deservingly so, but not at the time. I didn't want anyone to be talking to my kids at school. The cat was out of the bag. And I called his grandparents, and I'm said, like, you get his dad on the phone, you figure it out. I can't handle this kid anymore. And he was disrupting my addiction. He was disrupting.
And were you too deep in the addiction to have feelings of guilt and shame at that
None.
point?
I was angry. I didn't want anyone to call me out. And even my mom has told me that people had approached her over the years to do an intervention, like my children's fathers. And she absolutely refused because she said, she'll never talk to me again. She's like, I know her. She goes, don't get in her way. So that's pretty much from the time I was a toddler up until
how it went.
Up until probably about 3 years ago, that I was just barreling through life and just knocking shit over. And don't get in my way.
And so was that your older son was 10 at that point?
And my younger son was about 3 or 4.
And so he stayed.
He had already, I believe he had already been taken by his dad and brought back to New Jersey.
Got it. Okay.
It's all a blur during that time. I remember that crucial moment with my son, TJ. It's probably one of the moments in my life that breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. He saw a lot. He's been through a lot. And
how does he deal with that now, or how does he speak of it now?
He is an incredible boy, incredible kid. I had a really proud moment with him yesterday. He lives out in LA. He's living his life. And he texted me. He's like, Mom, I really don't like today. Today I don't like people. A lot of people I know are celebrating, what had happened yesterday. And he's like, it doesn't make me feel good. And I said, honey, then it's time to clean house. You got to protect your energy, And just the fact that he wasn't engaging in all of that, although his friends were, made me really proud. Like, that has nothing to do with...
And that he calls you.
That's nothing to do with me. He was born with that intention of goodness. And no matter... His mom was a stripper, drug addict, alcoholic. His dad was my drug dealer in New York City. No matter what he's been through, he is who he is. And that's a beautiful thing to know, like from a parent's perspective. No matter how bad I have fucked up, he is who he is. His path is his path. He's God's kid, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
Well, also, don't get it twisted. I do think that, in 23 years of sobriety, I've watched a lot of women get sober, women with kids. And I do think there's tremendous value in your own story of overcoming, I don't know how much kids learn from shit being buttoned up. I do feel like kids learn a lot from watching somebody crawl their way back. I really do. Yeah. I think that is probably going to be a big part of his story. So I would feel really good about that.
I texted him and said, just want to let you know how proud I am of the person you are. And he texted me back, I'm proud of you too, Mama.
Wow. What else is there?
What else is there? And then we had the 18-year-old who, I walked in my house yesterday, and my house smells like pot. And I'm like, Donovan, the house reeks of pot. And I don't know why, I haven't smoked anything. I go to the bathroom, the hall bathroom, there's towels underneath both of the doors. I'm like, honey, you can't get anything over on me. Why are you lying?
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. And then we had that kid, so.
And
balance.
How does your whole, like for me, that was really tough. You seem to do a much better job at this. I remember when my son got in trouble and we work out together sometimes.
Yeah.
And I showed up like basically in tears. I hadn't slept all night. And you were like, Keisha, I mean, this is how it goes. Like you don't seem to get thrown off course as much as I do. And I think that part of the struggle I have is that I've had such a tough time. So watching it unfold is tough for me because it's like you can see where it's going. How does that how does that roll with you?
You can tell me if I'm off course here, but I truly believe that parents get really bent out of shape when their children are off course because it is a reflection of the parent. Like, you have a treatment center. You are sober. How dare this be happening?
For me, it's more of watching the pain that I feel is around the corner. Like,
but that's your expectation.
Yeah.
And it's kind of delusional thinking.
Right.
You know, like
it's like it'd just be so much easier if even though the weird part is this, all the good shit in my life is from me being sober.
Yeah, of course.
The people I know, the life I've built. So you would think, why would you wish that somebody didn't have that? But all addicts know that might be the rainbow at the end, but the journey is fucking painful. And so that's the piece I think you hope your kids don't have.
Well, yeah, I show my kids so much grace because I didn't get it together until much later in life.
Right.
Like,
so you're 18.
You're 18. I'm like, all the beautiful lessons he has to learn, like, how dare I interfere with that?
I mean, it's definitely a way better approach. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I was in my car and he and I were both leaving at the same time yesterday, and I saw him go from the center lane 3 lanes over in front of a car into the left turning lane to get on 95, and I'm like, I wanted to text or call him immediately, and I was just like, God, whatever his journey is, it is his. I am not going to interfere. It will do me no good. It will just cause me fear and panic and stress. Please take this away. I know you got him, and please let me handle whatever it is if it's not going to be something I want.
So you've just surrendered to that idea.
I can't control it. I can't.
You've just surrendered to the idea that you have no control.
None.
How much of that do you attribute to your husband's coming out?
All of it.
Wow.
All of it.
So then life just comes full circle, and that's where the gratitude comes from. Wild.
Even I've always been the hard knock lesson type of person. It's got to be the worst possible scenario, but everyone's worst possible scenario, like you were saying earlier, is very unique to them.
Right.
Like when I first started going towards the journey of recovery and sobriety, when I was 40, it's because I had gotten jumped in a trap house. My face got sliced by another girl. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this might be dangerous. Although along the way, I had been in jail, car wrecks, fights, lost custody of my kid, like all the things.
And none of that taught you that you didn't have control.
Just get the fuck out of my way, everything's fine.
Right, right.
But when my face got cut, it was vanity.
Yeah.
Like that, God knew that was going to get me.
So the things that have taken you down, it is just interesting because people
the things that have brought me up.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Well, I feel like we get taken down and thrown around and then rise back up, which is the choice. You can do what people do different stuff with that, you chose to rise, I guess, at the end.
I think that's probably the character trait that I am the most happy that I have is willingness. Willingness to be brave with self-introspection and realize my part in all of the bullshit. So I'd never sit in victimhood. I'm never blaming others for what is happening or what has happened.
Well, you kind of like your information as rowdy as you give it. You take input very well. That's another thing I've noticed. You're you're like, just fucking give it to me straight. You know, I'm kind of like that too. I don't like, let's not dance around it.
No.
You know, I am willing to look at myself, and I'm grateful for that too, because you do see people in the world just unable or unwilling to like look at themselves. And I would imagine it's pretty tough to grow from that
I mean,
spot.
I would think less than 1% of people I've ever met are capable of actually looking at themselves as the problem and being capable of solving the problem.
Yeah.
Not many.
A lot of times it's too painful for people to acknowledge, you know, their part in something. It also, once you acknowledge something like that, sort of puts you in the position of having to do something
Yeah, now you
about
gotta change something.
Yeah, then you gotta change something, which sometimes is just really hard.
Yeah.
And some people don't know where to start.
It's like cake for me.
Yeah. I think that really is the benefit to Alcoholics Anonymous. It gives you a structured path, you know, and at the end of all of it, you get to be of use, you know, you get to be helpful. So your whole life starts to make sense, and then you just start to see life that way.
That's right. I feel like I've had an entire synapses rerouting in my brain that is incapable of going back to where it was.
Yeah.
I'll have these moments of thought, and it immediately switches. It immediately switches if I'm being judgmental or selfish or self-seeking. All of those things that I survived in for a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's immediately switched, and I'm so grateful for that, because that is a product of working in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yes. I really like, it's wild because our stories are totally different, you know? And I think I've told you this before. I spoke one time in a prison, and this guy said at the end, he said, I can't relate to anything in your story, but I can relate to everything.
Right.
And I was like, dang. And that's how I feel talking to you. There's so much that I haven't experienced or I can't relate to, but I relate so much to the feelings that you're like very articulate in expressing. And that idea of not being able to control, but always being able to get what you wanted your whole life. You know, like my brothers just love to tell stories about me from our childhood, and I could just get people to do what I wanted, and I knew it. I think when I got sober, someone told me it was called flirtatious manipulation.
Oh, so
and
good
I remember
at it.
being like, oh, there's a name. There's a name for it. You know? Like I did that my entire life.
Yeah.
My brothers used to call me BK because Burger King's slogan at the time was "My Way, Right Away." And when I had a daughter, they started calling her Little Whopper or Whopper Jr. I mean, it was just like, that's how I lived my entire life.
Totally get it.
So when I faced off with things like, for me, it was my daughter. And she just came out middle fingers up. Like she wasn't going to conform. And talk about a square peg in a round hole. I mean, I tried to squeeze her little ass into every hole on the planet.
Yeah.
And she was absolutely not conforming, no matter what.
Thank God.
Thank God. So at some point, I had to face off with myself, because why was I trying to do this? Why did I need her to do this? Why couldn't I be happy if she couldn't or wouldn't do this? So that's also part of my parenting book, is that you can read all the techniques you want, but if you're not willing to look under the hood, because we bring shit to the parenting party, you know what I'm saying? Nobody shows up to this bitch empty-handed.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you can really parent, because when you're willing to look at yourself, you're able to relinquish control, which you do very well. I'm halfway there. I feel like I'm in it. I'm relinquishing control, you know?
It's an action.
It's an action.
It's not just a miraculous thing that happens.
Yeah, and every time you feel like you've gotten it, then I feel like a new, I don't know, I posted some meme the other day that kind of cracked me up, but it was like basically like you think you're good at it until like another parenting level unlocks, you know? Like my son the other day called to tell me he's going to get sleeves of tattoo. Like he's going to come home just completely tattooed. And I don't even know why I give a shit, you know? But it's like, I thought I was like totally relinquishing control. And then he called and said that. And I was, you know, it's like, so then I will
What was your response?
go slow, you know? Like, I mean, I only have a few tattoos, but my mom, actually my first tattoo I got when I was 18. And I told my mom I'm going to get a tattoo. She was like, shit, let me come with you. Because, and her advice was good. Her advice was really good. She was like, and she was going to get one with me. We couldn't afford it. So we could only afford one. She said, just get something, maybe something that's of nature or something, because you might not like the shit you like now when you're 40.
Right.
So she gave me some weird example, but she was kind of right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember. I got some flowers or some shit, but her advice, she knew there was no telling me not to. She knew that wasn't happening.
Right.
So she wanted to control it at all. She had to come.
Yeah.
And then she tried to give me some like decent advice. So I tried to kind of go with that. I was like, look, you're going to do it. Maybe go somewhere that's like good, where the guy knows what he's fucking doing, and try and get something you're not going to hate when you're 40.
Yep.
And go slow.
Yep. My 18-year-old son, for his birthday, all he wanted was a big ass tattoo. So what do you think his dad and I did? We got him a big ass tattoo.
Speaking of tattoos, I learned recently that you got the neck tattoo in sobriety. So what was
all of
that?
my tattoos are in sobriety.
Which is wild, because a lot of sober people will be like, oh, I think I just saw a thing on Pete Davidson getting all of his tattoos removed.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was high. Like, I don't even know what this means. So that means something.
When I first got into recovery at 40, like I mentioned before, I was coming off the streets. I was homeless. I was hanging around with gangbangers. Mentally, I thought I was some head bitch in charge of a trap house. And being with the gangbangers was like the thing to do. But I was journeying into this world of recovery. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I wasn't going to be living on the street anymore. But my mind was still there. And I wanted to get a throat tattoo, and I wanted my knuckles done, because that's what the gangbangers had, and that's what made them look really tough. And so I said, okay, I'm going to get a throat tattoo and knuckle tattoo, so people that see me know. I wanted all the people in the new world.
So how do you feel about that now that you're not a gangbanger?
Well, I decided to get the throat tattoo butterfly because 10 or 12 years prior, my very best friend Kelly, who I had met when I was about 19 years old, who traveled with me, lived with me in New York and Miami. We'd traveled the world together. We did massive amounts of drugs. We were very best friends. She was fucked up on Special K, and she fell off the roof of her building in New York City. And she was 35. I was 36. And her mom and sister had gotten butterfly tattoos as a memorial to her. So I thought, what better way to get my throat tattoo than to do it with this beautiful butterfly in honor of Kelly. Kelly hated tattoos. She was a girl's girl. She was a girly, pink wearing, she hated tattoos. She'd be so mad at me for this, But
not surprised.
Not surprised. So I got the location of the tattoo is because I wanted people to view me as some intimidating street chick, and my knuckles as well. But the butterfly is for Kelly, and every day someone asks me about it, and I get to tell them how I honor Kelly by being sober.
And how do you feel about the tattoos
now? I love them. They're a part of me. I mean, would I prefer for everyone around town not to say, oh, the girl with the butterfly tattoo on her neck? I have a name.
But it's
great. It's a great reference.
Yeah, and it really does narrow it down.
Yeah, it's a great reference.
Yeah.
I love my tattoos. The only one that I'm not a huge fan of anymore is the one I got when I was 16.
Exactly.
Because it's ugly now. It's like spread.
Right. All right. So, not sure if I've ever told you, but one of the reasons for the name Cake for Dinner is because my dad baked me cakes when I went through hard times. He still does. I'm 51, and anytime I go through a hard time, I call him crying, and he's always willing to bake for me. And I feel like as sober people, we don't have a lot of outs. We don't get to do drugs. We don't get to drink. We don't get to escape. So for me, one of my unhealthy, I guess, escapes is sugar. So
What do you find brings that on? That you need to be comforted?
sometimes just heaviness, sometimes just the gravity of life, I think this stage of life is so great in some ways. Like I feel more in my skin. I feel more, the amount of fucks I don't give now is wild, I'm just like at peace but simultaneously, my kids are getting older and moving out of the house. My son is struggling. My parents are aging. I'm in menopause. I'm getting a biopsy next week because something might be. So just the gravity of all that sometimes is just heavy. And I'll find myself like coming in from work being like, I need to eat some sugar. Like,
Question.
I think that's my out.
You just mentioned that your son is struggling. Is that the one that asked for the sleeve tattoo? That doesn't seem like struggling to me.
Well, he's, struggling is a vague term, right?
Yeah,
so
I don't think it's real in this moment.
Yeah.
He's not currently struggling.
He's currently living. They're 18. So, the same
Yeah,
as
he's
your
currently
kid.
dealing with some consequences.
Yeah,
he's currently learning some lessons.
Yeah.
And he's asking for a full sleeve tattoo.
Well, and he's starting with one. And the one he's starting with is really sweet. His friend just died of a drug overdose. And the kid was an artist, an amazing artist. And so it's his signature, which is really cool,
Well, TJ, my oldest, texted me a picture on Sunday. And I don't know how this happened, but he just woke up and chose Honor Thy Mom today. And he got my name in red. He's got
if he gets that, I will be completely fine with it. Just
red,
so we're clear.
but my name, not Mom,
Oh, I
not
want
Mama.
Mom.
He got Allison written in red on top of one of his quarter sleeves. He's got all black and gray tattoos.
But that's so cute.
I'm like, honey, what made you wake up this morning and choose Honor Thy Mother?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know.
I will be very happy if any of my kids get a tattoo of my name. So anyway, back to the cake. That's why we have the cake here today. So let's taste it.
Yes, let's. Is it carrot cake? What is it?
It is cinnamon roll cake. So my mom is also famous for making cinnamon rolls. So I think this might be actually a new one.
So Dad made this cake?
So who knows who made it? It's either my mom, my dad, my brother.
Love it.
It's a good one. I've listened to a few of my podcasts, and now I know not to eat in the microphone because every woman in menopause can't stand the sound of eating. You know that?
Oh, you're in menopause?
Yeah.
Like full blown?
Full blown.
Really? How old are you?
51.
Got my period today. What?
Oh, honey, girl, you still got that estrogen popping.
I do.
Not me. Dead. I'm dead. I'm actually dead. Dead over here. Maybe that's why I need sugar.
Oh, I'm so grateful for that. When I hear the young girls in the salon, I got my period. My cramps are so bad. I'm like, bitch, you're going to be welcoming that shit as long as you can.
Yeah.
You have no clue what's in store for you.
And I just had a woman on, a hormone specialist. And she talked about, before you get your period is the progesterone time. So that's when you should eat carbs and you should, there's a way to actually fast for your cycle, which makes so much sense. Why you would want bread before when you're in that phase. And then once you get your period, that's when you should go into more fasting and, you kind of lean out. I don't know. It's a whole thing, but it makes so much sense. There's so much to all of this.
Right.
And I'll close with this since we're talking about hormones. Another part of this stage that I love that you'll actually get to, which is going to be wild if you give less fucks. I don't even know what we're going to do actually. But when the estrogen starts to leave your body, it's an actual real chemical thing that you're things change in your brain and you become more relaxed, which leads to you giving less shits. So girl, you're just going to be running around with your top off. I don't even know what we're going to do, but.
Well, let me just clarify. I do give mad fucks. I'm just not attached to the outcome of them.
Well, with that, we're going to close. So if somebody wants to get the best blonde hair ever, How could they find you?
At The Real Boss Doss on Instagram.
Love it. And they could find your book there.
Yes, it's in the, in the top. What do you call that little thing that we put all
The
of
bio. Link in the bio, people.
The link is in the bio of my Instagram. It's a great book about all the things that I've learned, and all of the details of my relationship and life are different. I can't imagine that any woman who has been in a relationship and told information that she did not want to contend with from her lover or husband could not relate to everything in this book.
Amazing. And a shout out to Rove, which is where you work.
I do.
And I am a blonde from Rove. So shout out to them, and thanks for coming.